All right, welcome back. You're with us here on Opening Fire. Markets are up about 14 points or so. So it's quiet this morning. Let's just put the sectors up quickly, take a quick look at what's happening. Some detail before I sort of go on. Small cap up 3/4 and I think mid caps are doing better. And that's been a trend which is sort of stuck now for the last many sessions. The BSE Metal Index is up 1 3/4, so top gainer. The Consumer Durables Index is up 1% plus as well. Capital Goods just barely 1%. The BSE PSU and the Power Index up about 0.7%. Out of the 13 BSE sectoral indices on my screen, you got 10 which are higher and 3 down. FMCG, BankX and IT are lower today. Otherwise, I mean, it's a broadly up day, and I think the broader market breadth would be pretty positive as well. Mehrab Irani is General Manager at Tata Investments Corporation. Mehrab, it's a pleasure to have you with us here in our studios.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time. So we are chatting, I think, for the first time after the new government has taken over.
Right.
I guess, and markets have, of course, cheered that to no end. Hope is turned up. People are bullish. Actually, people are now calling this a bull market. They were actually calling this a bull market even before the election verdict. But I now think there's this newfound confidence all around. What do you make of the market, Mehrab? First up, let me just get your thoughts, and then we can get specific.
Yeah, thank you for calling me today. You are right. After the new government has come, there is a lot of optimism around the new government. There is people are expecting a lot of new policy measures will be taken, a lot of bottlenecks will be removed, and on the back of that, the market has also rallied. If we see the fourth quarter results, have most of the companies have already come out. The top line sales growth has been close to 14% for the whole Sensex companies, and the EBITDA growth has been closer to 24% with a 210 basis point expansion in the EBITDA margin, and also the bottom line growth has been 16%. So there is clearly we are seeing a lot of cost control and operating measures have been paying off. Once the interest cost also come down going forward, I think the bottom line also can further expand. If you see on the macro fronts, last week a lot of macro numbers had come. The fourth quarter GDP was around 4.6%, while the whole year GDP was 4.7%. If we see that the agricultural growth was very good in that, but this year there is some concern about the monsoon and El Nino. If that happens, then agricultural growth may come down. While the industry growth was very low, it was in some 0.6% or something. So I think the new government has to revive the industrial growth. They have to revive the capex cycle, the investment cycle, and then we can expect next year GDP growth to cross above 5%. If you see certain other numbers,
this year growth,
this year growth, 15 growth. Once this investment cycle revives, then we can expect it to cross 5%. Also, if we see certain other numbers like the current account deficit, which came, that was around 1.7%, but it was primarily because of the imports actually slowing down, not because of expansion in exports. So that is one area which the government may have to look at. Also, the fiscal deficit was almost under control at 4.5%, and that was because of last minute some cut in the planned expenditure. So these were the macro measures. If you see the valuation, today we are trading at, although the Sensex or the market is at close to all-time highs, but we are trading still at 16 times forward earnings, which is well within the long-term 10-year average, and nowhere close to the peaks. Like in January 2008, we were more than 21 times earnings. So once the environment improves, and I think the industrial cycle picks up, investment cycle picks up, and the government takes some positive measures, I think we can surely see expansion in earnings also, and expansion in some kind of valuations also.
Do you think, so what comes first, Mehrab, according to you? Government action has to precede industrial activity picking up, or do you think it can happen even without the government?
See, whatever could have happened without the government has already happened, and also the sentiment has improved. Now I think there is time for real action, and I think once the real policy measures which the government takes, then only I think now further the market can also move, and also the industrial cycle, investment cycle can also pick up. They have taken some positive measures. The one biggest maybe, like if you see, there are only 45 Council of Ministers as compared to 70 in the UPA government. So also if you see on the oil reforms, I think last week there was a further hike in the diesel price. So they are at least continuing with what the last government had done, and now I think they have laid down some 10-point agenda also. So once we have to see, there is no magic wand that it will happen overnight, but over the next few months and quarters, what policy measures they announce and what action they take at ground level, that will further determine how the investment climate improves.
Merab, I don't think we should have any hesitation in saying that it's basically a bet on the new team, right, at the center, a change in dispensation, right?
Correct. It's perfectly a bet on the new team.
Completely. I mean, this new bull market thesis is based on that.
Yeah, if you
they will deliver.
Right, of the roots of the bull market is based on the bet on the new government.
And what do you think? I mean, how much time will so the market will sort of stay up on hope and optimism about the future? Because right now, I mean, you sort of spoke about a lot of numbers. They all show that things have stopped getting worse, but they're not getting better. So we're actually looking forward, as the market always does, 6 months, 8 months out. Do you think the government, as they typically say, will have a 6-8 month honeymoon period with the financial market?
Yeah, I see. The numbers will, as you said, will not improve overnight. It will take some time. But what is important is the intention. Once the government shows the intention and it starts announcing the policy measures, the numbers may not improve overnight or tomorrow. The market will, I think, give 2-3 quarters for it to improve. But the market has to see action. They have to see intention from the government, which I think just now is happening.
Yeah. So what are you most enthused about from what you've heard recently, after the government has been sworn in, the new Council of Ministers has been sworn in? Because we've sort of heard from new ministers about what they would like to do. You said, have heard that 10-point agenda. There was news flow over the weekend about the group of minister system under the earlier UPA being dismantled. That could be significant, right? It's not gotten as much play maybe in the media as it should, but it changes how the government process functions. But what are you most enthused about?
Yeah, you are perfectly right. See, the government process and how it functions and how the PMO and the different ministries coordinate, that is the most important thing at the macro, at the highest level. Once that improves, I think the policy decisions, etc., will be much faster. And also, I think the government is very much moving around with others, all the other officers and etc. And today also we read in the papers some news that the Prime Minister is going to meet the high level officials, etc. So these all measures, once what had happened under the UPA government was there was total lack of decision making. There was no implementation. And once there is some kind of respite from the top, I think at the lower levels the implementation will start. And that is very important. The execution has to start.
Yeah. Execution has to start. The market, Merab, and you'd agree with me, expects a certain kind, this new government to be of a certain kind, right? It's seen to be enterprise friendly, right? I mean, it's encouraging investment. So there is a certain narrative which the market has in its mind for this new government, and that's why hopes are high. What are the chances, Merab, in your opinion, with the mandate that they have got, and Mr. Modi specifically, right? I mean, the mandate is for him. Let's be clear about that. That he actually decides to follow a different path, aimed ultimately at getting to a higher rate of growth, right? But the path taken to that higher rate of growth is different from what the market expects him and his new government to follow. What's your sense?
If the new government takes a different path, then it would be slightly disappointing for the market in the short term. However, if he is able to achieve his long-term goals, then I think it would be still viewed positively by the markets. However, unfortunately for India, if he would not take what the mandate of the people were, then it would be really very negative for the markets.
Yeah. No, but it gets deeper. I think will get us deeper into analyzing the outcome of the election verdict, right? Because what was the mandate? Right. I think we can go on endlessly about that. But the point is, there is a certain narrative in the market, right? This is what we should expect in terms of infrastructure growth, very growth-focused kind of narrative. Right. But he might decide, I need to focus on. I mean, if you sort of read the speeches and heard the speeches right after he took, after the election outcome came through. I mean, he said, my government will be for the youth, for the poor, for women, right? I mean, that's essentially what he said.
Right.
So the path that he takes and the government takes to getting to that higher rate of growth can be different to what the market expects him to do. And this is a Modi government, right? The PMO is going to be extremely strong, as we've been highlighting, and that's the indication that one has been getting from New Delhi as well. Merab, you'd agree with that?
Right.
What's your sense? if this is a bull market, this is the beginning of a bull market, what should we expect, Merab? I mean, every bull market is a theme, right? Many have told me that it's going to be PSUs once again, which are going to be the poster child of this new bull market. Do you agree with that, or you think we'll have a different sector?
Yeah, PSUs can be one of the sectors. I think they have suffered a lot under the previous government because of the measures of the previous government. And even if some normalization happens, I think PSUs in different sectors, whether you take PSU banks, PSU oil companies, I think they can be one of the leaders in the next bull market. There can also be a lot of other sectors, as we mentioned, related to infrastructure, related to construction, power. I think those all also can be the leaders in the next bull market. Of course, the other sectors may also continue, like private sector banks may continue, autos may continue to do good. So those may also continue. As far as the government is concerned, yes, the market has certain ideas for what the government should do, but the government may not necessarily do 100% what the market wants. The government also has certain other agendas, as you said, about the poor people, about the women, etc. And those are also right agendas. But till the government is moving in the right direction, I think these small kind of things would not affect the market. Till the intention of the government is right and they are moving in the right direction.
Yeah. What have you done, Merab? I mean, what is your, broadly, without getting into stocks, what is your portfolio looking like, your stance? Is it completely cyclicals and now small exposure to defensives? What is it looking like?
Yeah, recently we have been adding more on some private sector banks, infrastructure, autos, etc. I think private sector banks are doing quite good. They have managed this interest rate cycle and the NPA cycle very well. Their stress assets are very much under control. Their margins are good. They are improving their CASA ratios. Their fee income growth targets are also higher than loan book, and they are well capitalized, and those who are not are also able to raise money at reasonable prices. So though the valuations have gone up and we have to be selective, but certain banks are good and they are good macro plays also. So this is one sector which I think we are positive. Even on the autos, I think the recent numbers were also particularly for the passenger vehicles, the cars and the two-wheeler segment were good for some companies.
Yeah.
If we see the CVs, I think the CV has no doubt still it is negative, but I think they have bottomed out. If we see there is already 5 to 6% increase in the freight rates, and also the discounts which the dealers or manufacturers used to give a few months back, like around 2 to 4 lakh per truck, I think that discount has also vanished. So I think that CV cycle is also close to bottoming out. No doubt it may take a couple of more quarters to see, but I think autos is also one sector which is looking interesting.
So, autos, private banks, and you said infrastructure.
Infrastructure, capital goods.
Infrastructure, capital goods. So, in the infrastructure, capital goods, are you focusing on, without getting into names again, are you focusing on developers, or are you focusing on companies who actually supply to the developers, be it power plants or roads or other things? The developers or the suppliers?
I think it is a mix of both. We are looking at good quality, good companies, good managements. Here we have to be very cautious because we are coming out of a very long cycle, and a lot of stock prices have recently gone up, which are companies which are not so good management. The balance sheets are not good. The debt is very high. So we have to be very cautious over here. We can't just buy any company at this point of time. So very cautiously we are looking at different segments within that, whether it is road, construction, capital goods, or even related to defense, etc.
Yeah. Defense, I mean, there are more than a few plays. Right. And again, it's a bet, I guess, on 100% FDI, right? Which has been spoken about.
Yeah,
is that the bet?
That is one of the bets, and also on the sector reviving.
Right. Okay. But for private players to be able to sort of get work, they'd have to be allowed in, which means that regulation has to change.
Correct.
Right. Have you, Merab, sort of looked at any of the what I call the dead, beaten down, forgotten names from the last 5-6 years, which have again, these are 10 rupee names which have become 20, 25, and of course they were not 25 to begin with. They were 500 rupee stocks in the last bull market, right? You get the idea.
Right.
Have you looked at those names? Have you added any? What's your broader sense?
If you see in any bull market, the stocks, like as you mentioned, 500 rupee stock, when they go to 500 and when the next bear market comes, they almost lose 90-95% of the value and may go to 10 rupees or whatever. And when a new bull market is about to begin, there is again some kind of hope. Again, people start comparing, okay, it was 500 rupees in the last cycle and now again. So they start buying those 10 rupee or penny stocks or whatever you may call. And they may actually multiply from the bottom also. That 10 rupees can become 50 rupees also. But that doesn't mean that business conditions or the balance sheets or the promoters have substantially improved or changed. So we have to be very cautious in such kind of companies. As I mentioned, quality is very important, particularly in those companies and those sectors which have, suffered a lot because in last 5 years, like the infrastructure, capital goods sector.
Yeah. In terms of market cap preference, I mean, are you sticking to what percentage is large caps, what percentage is mid caps? So say what percentage of your portfolio is now companies with market cap less than $1.5 billion, $2 billion, and what percentage is large caps, which of course is higher. Yeah.
Clearly, I think we have been adding a lot of mid-cap companies because I think now lot of mid-cap companies had suffered a lot over the past few years, and if the delta is over there in the earnings also and in the valuations also. So clearly, we have been more focusing on the mid-caps. But as I mentioned, we have to be very cautious and very selective in the mid-cap space because all may not recover from here. So only the good quality companies who have good balance sheets, who have good promoters, I think those companies will recover and they will give much higher returns as compared to large caps over the next few years.
Got that. Mehrab, by the way, is not just he doesn't just run a fund, but he's also a prolific writer. Mehrab, your second book is coming out soon, right?
Right.
And I hope we can chat about that.
Sure.
When that does come out. So
sure. Thank you.
That's in the next couple of weeks, I guess.
Yes.
Mehrab, thanks very much for dropping by. Great to have you with us here. Appreciate it.
Thanks for calling. Thank you.
All right, let's just take a quick break. We are back in 2. I caught up with Rhythm Desai, Managing Director and Head of Research at Morgan Stanley India. This was about a week back. I just want to play out specific portions of that interview. There's a Morgan Stanley conference on today, and you'll hear from Chetan Iyer a little later live as well, post the RBI policy. But take that break, back with specific portions of our interview with Rhythm.